Okay, so in front of us we have a PowerColor Red Devil Vega 64. This card was sent to me by a patron who asked that I repair for him. So, like all the broken cards that we get, we want to first start by checking for short on the base voltage rail. So I have my multimeter in continuity mode. If I probe ground or something connected to ground, my multimeter beeps. So, we're going to start by checking 12 volts and 3.3 volts at the PCI Express slots. So if you don't know, the first 3 pins are 12 volts over here. So checking any one of these 3 pins, we're perfectly good. To check 3.3 volts, we start at this notch and we go 4 pins left. And we're perfectly good. Now we want to check both 12 volts at the 2 external A pins. We can get away with just checking these 2 inductors. So, checking this one up here, we're perfectly good. And checking the one at the bottom, we have a short. So typically this is, Vega cards tend to fail on the GPU VRM or at the GPU itself. These are the 2 most, likely scenarios, but we'll discuss the 12 volt short later. So let's go to resistance mode and check the rails generated by the card itself. To begin, we want to be checking 5 volts. Vega has 2 LDOs for the 5 volt rail. So the first one is actually over here. It's the bottom pin over here. So we have, let's see, 15 or so kilo ohms, perfectly fine. Now we want to check the other 5 volt LDO. The other 5 volt LDO, by the way, is actually on the back of the card. So just as a demonstration, it's over here, and it's this bottom left pin over here. That's what I'll be measuring in a moment. Now, checking that 5 volt LDO, we have 3 ohms. So we're short on 12 volts, and we're short on 5 volts. Then it's, well, if you assume one component is causing both shorted rails, then it's probably a doubler, given that there's not too many components to take both 12 volts and 5 volts. But anyways, now we want to check the display rail. So the display rail is over here. It's this inductor. So anyways, we have 11.5 ohms. This is perfectly normal. Now let's check 1.8 volts. So this is about a kilo ohm usually, or more. You know, 1.7, 1.6 kilo ohms, perfectly fine. And finally, we want to check the memory controller. 20.9, perfectly normal. And actually, no, there's one more rail. So now we want to check the memory. This is typically about 40 ohms, I think. 36, yep, perfectly normal. So as you saw, we have a short on both 12 volts and 5 volts. So I should note that whenever you have a short on any power rail on a graphics card, you have to consider the path in which it takes the ground. So sometimes, you know, your shorted power rail, whatever current it's fed, it goes through maybe some not so important IC and then straight to ground. But sometimes instead it goes through, let's say, a MOSFET through the GPU and then to ground. In which case, if you hook up a power supply to your card and you, let's say, set the power supply to 3 volts, you'd be feeding 3 volts to the core, and this is obviously not a good idea. So what we're going to do, again, like I mentioned, is we're going to check to see if any voltage appears on any inductor on the GPU itself. So I'm going to start with the 12 volt rail, since that's much simpler. And also because it's more likely to pass through the GPU on a 12 volt rail than the 5 volt rail. So, as you can see, the voltage is 800 millivolts. So now let's just check the various voltage rails connected directly to the core. Starting with the memory, 0 volts. Starting with now the GPU core, 0 volts. Memory controller, 0 volts. 1.8 volts, again 0 volts. And finally the PEX rail or display rail, 0 volts. Okay, so we can see that at least on the 12 volt rail, none of the current seems to pass to the GPU. That's a good sign. Now let's check the shorted 5 volt rail. Now, checking the memory once again, nothing. V-core, okay, so we have 19 millivolts. That's a bit higher than normal, but that's still it's still pretty low, so I'm not too worried. Now let's check the memory controller. Nothing. 1.8 volts. Nothing. Nothing for the PEX rail either. Okay, so it seems like at least no significant amount of current is being fed to the core. What this tells me is that it should be safe for me to ramp the voltage up on my power supply and just simply see what component starts getting warm. You know, and that of course should be our shorted component. Maybe not, but it should be our shorted component. But anyways, in either case, I'm going to do this off camera. In a moment, you'll see what component was faulty. Okay, so as you saw, I replaced the IR359. Well, I didn't replace the IR3598. I took it off since it was shorted. I should note that I lost the clip in which I took off the faulty components, but you will see which component this is later on in the video. So I should note that because I don't get a lot of Vega cards, I just want to talk about common failures on Vega in general and also Radeon 7 and what they often mean and how you can sometimes solve them. So the first common failure that I want to talk about is actually code 43. So a lot of people, you know, they ask me all the time what to do with let's say a Radeon 7 or a Vega 64 that suffers from code 43. Now, code 43 generally denotes an error relating to either the BIOS or the memory. But since BIOS modding isn't really a thing with Vega and Radeon 7, this usually means that, you know, your Vega or your Radeon 7 has a memory problem, and that because it has a memory problem, and because, you know, Vega and Radeon 7 have HBM modules, in order to swap the memory, you have to actually swap the GPU, and so a lot of these Vegas end up being, well, parts cards. Now, the second common fault is that you have a problem with the GPU VRM. Typically speaking, you know, it's rather common to see, let's say, a Vega or Radeon 7 in which you have normal resistances, all voltages except for the V-core. Now, this is still generally a nasty problem, but it can be made a lot simpler by knowing just a very crucial piece of information about Vega cards and Radeon 7 and just a lot of cards in general. So, in order to demonstrate this, it's actually best if I switch over to a 1080 Ti. So, as many of my viewers already know, when you first boot a 1080 Ti, the V-core sits at about 800 millivolts, as you can see. So there we go, 800 millivolts. Now what happens is that when the 1080 Ti initializes, after a few moments, this then drops to about 700. And as you can see, there's the BIOS splash screen here. So Vega does a very similar thing, except that rather than vary the voltage, what I mean is that it doesn't just vary the voltage. What Vega does is that it varies which phases are in operation. In particular, Vega only uses half of its phases when it first boots. And because of this, you can often use the fact that it only uses certain phases to at least reduce the number of possible faulty phases down to, at most, 3. I meant to say 3 doublers and 6 phases. So which phases does Vega use? Well, when Vega first boots, it only uses these two phases, and these two phases, where these phases correspond to PWM signal 1, PWM signal 3, and PWM signal 5. I think that's the ordering. It might be some other ordering, I should say. So, the reason why this is useful is because what happens is that on some Vega cards, when you first boot the card, you have 0 volts on the V-core. This can sometimes be used to indicate that you have a problem with one of these two phases, one of these two, or one of these two. But it can also indicate a problem with the controller itself or something else. Now, the reason why that's useful is that on some other cards, the V-core actually does turn on at first. You know, it rises to 900 millivolts. But after the GPU tries to initialize, this then drops to 0 volts due to a detected fault condition. So because it at least works at the beginning, but then drops to 900 millivolts, I meant to say 0 volts. You can then usually assume that this, a card like this would have a problem with these two phases, or these two phases. Now, in this particular case, the reason why this particular card detects a fault condition is actually due to the fact that I haven't yet reinstalled the doubler. Just to be clear, that now missing doubler was the source of our short on both the 5-volt rail and the 12-volt rail. And, I purposely kept it off so that I could show this, just in case you have a Vega card that's a bit more difficult than this one. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and buy this part, and in a moment you'll see me install it, and we'll see if the card's any more functional. Okay, so as you probably didn't see, actually, I replaced the IR3598 doubler on the back, off camera, over here. Anyways, let's go ahead and boot the card. So as you may remember, the last time when we tried to boot the card, as soon as it came to the point to initialization, the GPU V-core shut itself off due to lacking a doubler. This time you'll see that, well, not only does the card boot, we have a BIOS splash screen. Okay, if you're wondering why the image is corrupted, it's because I have a non-UEFI, my motherboard has a non-UEFI BIOS. But anyways, the card is now in a bootable state. Let's go put the cooler back on and stress test it. Okay, so as you can see, we're actually watching a video of the Vega being stress tested. So I should note that the main takeaway from this video is that in general, Vegas and Radeon 7s, they fall under 2 categories. The first is that you have a dead core. For most dead cores, this is usually code 43, denoting a memory-related error. But for some of them, it just won't be detected. Now, for other Vegas and Radeon 7s, you probably have a GPU VRM fault. So like you saw in the video, you can often use the way the VRM initializes to deduce which phases are possibly faulty. If you have 900 millivolts at first, but then it drops to 0, you can assume it's the last 6 phases. But if not, you can assume it's the first 6 phases. But even if you have this piece of information, this is, Vegas and Radeon 7s are still famously difficult cards. There are not a lot of repair videos on the internet on Vega and Radeon 7, and it's for very good reason. But anyways, I hope you learned something watching this video. If my channel has helped you out, consider becoming a patron, link in the description. Otherwise, I will hopefully see you in the next one.